Hi babes, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm showing you guys how I created my maternity shoot makeup. Yes, makeup. I was gonna say photos, but makeup. For the day of my maternity shoot, a lot of you guys asked me how I had done it and if I could share the products. So in today's video, I'm sharing all the products that I used to create my makeup look that day. And I try to be as detailed as I can so that way you guys can recreate it. So hopefully this helps you out. And with that being said, let's just get into this video. All right guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started now. Now I usually do my eyes first. I did already do my brows. However, I'm gonna go ahead and do my face and then we can do my eyes, our eyes. If you're doing this while I'm doing this, our eyes after. But I'm gonna go ahead and prep my skin right now. I'm gonna take my moisturizer and my primer. So let me go ahead and grab those. All right guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and use two moisturizers. I have the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream and this one has sunscreen in it. And I also have the Glammed Plus. Now the reason I'm gonna also take this one is because right now that I am pregnant, I do have a little bit of extra dryness in my skin. So this one is a skin recovery complex. So it's just to moisturize my skin a little bit more. So I'm gonna be going in with both of these. Now I do recommend that you guys have like a little spoon like this. This is something that I got when I purchased like a facial kit. But what I'm trying to say is that you should have something like this so you can scoop your products out instead of digging your fingers in there. That way you do not contaminate your products. So I am going to be scooping this out. I used to not do that. However, my esthetician said that I should be using something like this and that I shouldn't be digging my fingers in there. That's kind of how you create bacteria instead of products and also cross-contamination. That's something that I do for my clients. I've never really considered it for myself, but now I also do it on myself. Now I'm going with just a little bit of that Glammed moisturizer as I mentioned. And I only take this moisturizer on the areas where I am excessively dry. So that is going to be my chin and around my mouth. Now I do want to mention I do have sensitive skin. So whenever I touch my face, it does get pink a little bit, but don't worry about that. Everything is good. It doesn't mean that my skin is irritated. That way you guys aren't like, Erika, your face is getting so pink. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and this I'm just gonna apply all over my face. And this one does also come with a little scoop, so I can just take this and pick it up like this instead of digging my fingers into it. Now, I really like the Tatcha primer. However, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of expensive. So I only use this one when I feel like I'm going out somewhere nice, or in this case, I was getting ready for my maternity shoot. So this one I do recommend. However, I wouldn't recommend it, for like a daily basis. As I mentioned, it is pricey. So I would just recommend that you use it on any special occasion, which is the way that I use it. But as I mentioned, that is the Tatcha primer. Now I'm also gonna go ahead and add some eye cream, and this one is from Fresh. And to apply this, I just use my, what is this? My ring finger, or technically it'd be this one, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that. So now I'll go ahead and take the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. So to apply my foundation, I'm gonna just go ahead and use the Makeup Shack Beauty Sponge, discount code Erika for 20% off. So let me just go ahead and mix up a little bit of that, and then I'll actually start applying it. And I always add that to the bottom base of the sponge, and then I just go ahead and start stippling that onto my, I meant to say stippling, my bad guys. Stippling that onto my face. By the way guys, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the love that I got on my maternity shoot. Believe it or not, there's actually still more shots that I have not posted on my social media. But I think I showed you guys enough. I love the other ones, but I don't know. You guys were so kind though. That's why I just want to say thank you to you guys. And hopefully you guys do find this video helpful. I had a lot of people ask me how I did my makeup. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to film a video. I know I took about 2 weeks to film the video. I mean, after my shoot photos that I posted, but I've been a busy girl these days. So I'm sorry, but at least I'm able to film it now. Now for my concealers, I'm going to be taking the Born This Way concealer in the shade Light Beige, as well as the Frankie Rose Our Little Secret concealer in the shade Angelic. Now I do have a discount code with Frankie Rose. It is Muaerika. And why am I taking two of these, if you're wondering? This one is very light and I like it to highlight my T-zone a little more. And this one is a little closer to my skin tone, so if I go in a little too much with this one, I kind of tone it down with this one. Does that make sense? But I really like that this one highlights. It just sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I do overtake it, so that's when I take this one. But I'm gonna go ahead and start adding this one first. Now I'm just taking a Makeup Shack T37 and I'm picking up that shade and just applying that to my under eyes. Now I'm just using a Makeup Shack T37 to apply this to my eyelids, because I do also want to make sure that I get the concealer worked up in there. And I don't want to take the actual wand from the concealer and try to apply too much on there. So that's why I took that brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and add this everywhere else. Now I'm pretty happy with that shade. As I mentioned, I do like the brightness. I'm just going to take a little bit of this one closer on the edges. And now going back to my beauty sponge, I'm just go ahead and buff everything out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Toffee and just add that to my nose to contour and a little bit on my face. Now for the brush, I'm using the T37 again. And the only reason I'm applying it this way is because I'm running low of the LA Girl. So I'm scooping it out right now. But it still gets the job done. And to apply that on my nose, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Makeup Shack T63. All right, now I'm gonna go back in with my sponge and just make sure I blend everything out. However, now I'm gonna use the other side so I don't mix in the shade that I used to highlight with the shade that I'm gonna be using to contour. For blending out my nose contour, I'm actually using the exact same brush. I just make sure that it doesn't have too much product before I actually go in to blend it all out. But I'm using the exact same one. Now to set my face, I'm gonna be using the RCMA No Color Powder, and I'm gonna mix some of that with my Milk Makeup Blur and Set Matte Loose Setting Powder, and this one is in the shade Translucent Medium. So I'm just gonna mix them both. Now, when I wasn't this fair, which is like 2 months ago, I was using this one alone, but now that I'm fair, this one can be a little too brightening for me. So that is why I'm mixing both of them, just in case you guys are wondering, because I'm sure you guys are like, why don't you just use one? That's why I'm taking both. However, I really do like the Milk Makeup Blur and Set Powder, so I'm still gonna take it in. I'm just gonna mix in a little bit of this one. And once again, to apply that, I just use my beauty sponge from the Makeup Shack. And I am setting my entire face with both of these powders. So just make sure that when you do set your face, you're setting everything. You don't want to just set like your under eyes or the places you think that you'll be creasing. Make sure you set everything. Especially with this heat, you don't want your makeup to feel like it's melting off. So just make sure you set everything. Now make sure that you also go in and set your eyelids, being that, for example, like myself, I did do my eyelids when I was doing my highlighting. So make sure that you also set that. You don't want that to crease up on you. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Makeup Shack Silhouette Contour Palette. If you've been with me for a while, you know that this is my baby. So I'm gonna be taking the two shades in the middle, which are Bronze and Sunkissed. They are these two right here. And to apply that, I'm gonna be using the Makeup Shack T21, which is my favorite brush to apply my bronzer, powder bronzer, contour, all of those things. And I'm just gonna go ahead and build that up. If you guys know me, you guys know that I love to look bronzed. However, I do have to be a little more careful these days because, as I said, I am very, very fair now. So I don't want to do too much and overdo it. And I'm also gonna go ahead and just take that all over my forehead. Basically every area that I applied my contour, I'm just gonna retouch with my powder. My jawline, I did not take contour, but I do go in with whatever's left over. To brighten up the bridge of my nose, I'm gonna go ahead and use the shade Light and the Makeup Shack T65. And we're just gonna highlight the tip and the bridge. Now I'm also going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in the shade 2, which is medium. There's only 3 shades, so I'm definitely not the fair one. And the shade 3 is really dark, so shade 2 is for me. Now I'm gonna apply this with the Makeup Shack T24. And the reason I'm doing this and now when I didn't do it before is because I want to make sure that I like mingle everything together. Does that make sense, guys? Like, you know, you mingle like a drink. I feel like I want to mingle my makeup now that I have done my powder contour. So I feel like it kind of just sets everything together nicely. But once again, I do go in with this all over my face. Next, I'm taking the ColourPop Fresh and Peachy Pressed Powder Cheek. This is just a blush, and this is one of my favorites. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this, and I'm gonna be applying it on a Makeup Shack T38. All right, so now that my face is done, we can go ahead and get started on the eyes. I'm gonna be using the Morphe 39A palette. Now, let me show it to you guys, just in case you're not sure which palette that is. It is this one, and for my first shade, I'm gonna go ahead and take this brownish shade right here. For my brush, I'm using the Makeup Shack T83, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start applying this. Sorry guys, I needed to tap off the brush. I'm gonna start applying this eyeshadow right to my crease, and I'm just gonna build it up. I'm not blending right now. And I am only applying it to my outer corners, so you guys notice I just applied it here. I didn't actually go too far in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to my other eye. Now, I do want to mention that I did take some RC Mano color powder under my eyes just in case I have any fallout. But you should have something like this. Now, as I mentioned, I had not blended. I was just patting my shade on. So now I'm going to take that same brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and buff all of that out so that it's a little more seamless and not so like on there, if that makes sense. But as I mentioned, I'm just going to buff that out with the exact same brush. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna take a darker shade. I did go ahead and start on my left eye already, but I went in with this brown right here on the exact same brush, and I just applied that right under the first shade that we used, just to darken it up. Gotta tap off that excesses. And as before, I'm just patting this on, and then I'll blend it out after, but what we're trying to do is darken it up and intensify that crease without covering up the first shade we used. Next, I'm gonna be taking this dark brown right here, and to apply that, I'm gonna use a smaller brush so that I don't cover up any of the shades I previously used, and that is the Makeup Shack T82. So I'm gonna pick that up, dust it off, and just go in right in onto that crease. And do you guys notice how I'm not touching the other 2 shades? That is what you're trying to achieve, so that it just darkens up the crease. Lastly, I'm going to take the Makeup Shack T11, and I'm going to take this lighter shade, and I'm just buff away the edge so that it is very soft and seamless. And this is what I mean about the edge, just so that it kind of has like no finish to it. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the Araceli Ojos Perfectos liquid eyeliner and do a line of eyeliner just as I have here. You can wing this if you want. I personally didn't wing it on my photo shoot, so I'm not gonna be winging it. So I'm just gonna add that line. All right, now that I have that on, if you guys noticed, at the end, my eyeliner kind of just stops. So to kind of blend that away and it not be as noticeable, I'm gonna do what I did on this side. So on this side, you guys can't really see that it kind of just stopped. What I did is I took the T82 again, and I picked up very little black shadow. And I go right to the tip, and I don't blend this. I literally just like smudge it right on that edge. And like this, I'm smudging it, patting it onto that edge. And I'm not gonna blend it upward because I don't want it to be super smoked out, but just so that it can kind of smoke this little outer corner as well as buff away the eyeliner edge. For my lashes, I went ahead and I used the Makeup Shack Corrupt lashes. These are their new mink lashes. If you guys haven't tried them out, I definitely recommend that you look into them. But as I mentioned, these are in the style Corrupt, and this is what they look like. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply these off camera, and I'll be back in a moment. I actually just wanted to show you guys what it looks like to have like the lash on and not have lashes on. Like, see this? I look like a chihuahua. And this one, it looks so cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do this one. By the way, I'll just show you guys now that I'm here. But all I do is I just press down the center, and then I just fix those edges. Oops, I touched the glue. So just like that, and then I take my fingers and I ensure that it is on just by pressing it. Next, I'm taking the Araceli Ojos Perfectos gel pencil. So before we use the liquid one, now I'm gonna take the gel pencil and just add this to my top waterline so that my lashes and my waterline kind of like blend in together, and we can't see that waterline, and it all just looks like a solid black line. All right, guys, so went ahead and finished this eye. That way you guys can see what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one now with you guys. And I went in with the Makeup Shack T8 and that first brown shade that we took. So you always wanna make sure that you're using the same shades if you want it to look more, I don't wanna say put together, because you can definitely do other shades on the bottom. But if you want it to look like more seamless and stuff, and for it to match the top, then use the exact same shades. So I'm gonna pick up that shade on this brush. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start buffing that right on. Now using this exact same brush, I'm gonna take the second shade we had taken, which was this one. And once again, just buff it up. Now you just wanna make sure that you don't cover up your first shadow. Now taking a different brush, I'm picking up the T66. I'm gonna take that dark brown that we used, and I'm gonna apply that one closer to my lash line just to intensify everything. Lastly, I'm gonna take the black and also smudge that right in. And this just smokes everything right out. Now, if you guys notice, this eye is all smoked out from the bottom, and on this one we can see my waterline. That is because on this one I do not have gel liner on yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my pencil gel liner, and it's the same one I previously used from Araceli Beauty. And now we can just go ahead and add that. But do you guys see like the difference between seeing the waterline and applying the gel liner? I prefer it like this. You can also use a brown if you would like and you don't want it so smoked out with black. Or you can even use a white, but I prefer it with the black, so I'm just gonna add this one. And last, we have mascara. Now, if you guys remember, I did mention I would be adding highlight, but only onto my tear ducts. So I'm gonna be using the MAC Whisper of Guilt highlight. Now to actually apply this on, I'm using the Makeup Shack T58, but do you guys notice the difference? It kind of just opens and highlights your eye by applying highlight on there. So I'm gonna do the same thing to my right eye now. So the last thing we need to do is just do our lips. Now that day I used my Sweet Tea lip liner from Morphe, so I'm gonna just go ahead and outline my lips. Next, I'm taking the MAC Cosmetics Bare Bling lipstick. Now, I know that looks like very harsh against each other. It is because I have not gone back into blend, but to kind of mingle them together, I'm gonna be taking the KKW Beauty Shade 2 Nude Lipstick. And I'm just gonna take that right on the edge where my lip liner and my lipstick meet so that they can blend in a little nicely. Now, I do want to mention that the day of my maternity shoot, this is how my lipstick had started. However, towards the end, I had been drinking a lot of water, so it had rubbed off around the center, and I forgot to take my lipsticks. So I had my Morphe lip liner, but not in this shade. I had it in Bite Me, which is darker, so I would just like overlined it. And in some photos, you'll notice that my lipstick does look a little darker. However, this was the original shade I had gone for, and I just messed up because I didn't take them. So now we just need to set everything up. That way we are done. I'm gonna be using the Beauty Creations setting spray, and this one is in peach. I do have a discount code, and it is Muaerika, so y'all can save some money. And let's just go right in and spray this. So that day, I also had my extensions in. I actually have them put away right now, and they are still curled, so I could easily just like install them right now and call it a day and be like, oh my god, another maternity day shoot. But it's kind of hot and I really don't want to put them on right now. So this is the look, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I'm not making it too long. However, I did want to be very detailed in everything that I used and show you guys how I did it. But thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, turn on your post notifications. Also follow me on my Instagram. It is Muaerika18. It is always linked below, as well as my discount codes. And drop a comment, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Hey, I look better than what I've been through, yeah. It's a celebration.